All right, testing the stream. Let's see. I think we are good to go. Very exciting. Actually, Wendy? I'm just as excited for the sandwich as you would be for the sandwich I have. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm having it delivered, so it wasn't just like sitting around.
That's not bad. That's not bad. It'll
So
be
hopefully it'll be fine.
be nice and fresh. Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Very nice. All right.
it'll be my second dinner.
Nice, nice. That's always something I was like, I want to make. That's one of the things that's funny about this time slot is that sometimes it is because it's like for the East Coast and the Central Time Zone, it's pretty late. Like, so it's kind of interesting.
Right, and I have personal training on Tuesdays, so I did a workout from 5:30 to 6:30.
Ooh.
So I came home and I needed to eat something.
Yeah.
I decided to eat something healthy to, you know, counteract my sandwich.
No, absolutely, absolutely. It's a good call. It's a good call. Gosh, what? How was your weekend, by the way? Just as long as we.
The weekend.
Small
What did
talking.
I even do? What is time? The weekend. So I streamed on Saturday, and then my incredibly handsome and talented husband had a dance rehearsal after. So I drove him, and that was like 3 hours. So I just hung around. I did some computer work, and then drove him home. And I did nothing the rest of the night because I was done. I was tired.
It's a good call on Saturday.
And then Sunday, I think I did some. I was okay. So I have this concert next week, and I got a piece thrown at me pretty last minute, and so it's a Baroque piece, and I was given a score. So I had to combine two violin parts and the bass and create a harp part. So that was mostly what I did this weekend.
Wow.
And it's not that hard. It's just very time consuming, and it's a lot of work on like the front end, just like making the music. And then like the last couple days, I've just been like trying to practice it and be able to play it.
That's pretty cool. Like, that's something we'll get into as we get going on the stream. Like, arranging sounds like a really like you said, it's a lot of work, but it seems like it's a really rewarding experience.
It is. It is. It's puzzles. It's just puzzles. Trying to take something that's bigger and make like for multiple instruments and figure out how to make it work for harp, or the opposite. I've done. I've taken some very like simple music and kind of filled it out. So it just it's and like the harp has some interesting logistical issues that no other instrument has. So it's puzzles. It's figuring out like how can I convey what the music is trying to convey while still making it playable and pleasant to listen to.
Yeah.
It's like you can't always have all of those things.
No, for sure.
So it's just balancing act.
Yeah. Well, this is exciting. Let's get this thing rolling. It's so good to see. We have some people in the chat already. We are looking forward to
Let's go.
We're looking forward to your internet. Hey, Looney, what's up? What's going on? How's it going? Welcome. Oh, I love it. Let's be mods. Can we give Looney Soy Sauce a shout out? So good to see our good friend Looney in our chat. I think you all are gonna have this is gonna be a fun time tonight, folks. Hello. How's it going, everybody? My name is Davey. I am a variety streamer that hosts interviews here on Twitch. It's so good to see you all here tonight. And this is the latest in our series of Sandwich Show interviews. And for the stream tonight, we have someone who I've been looking forward to get on really for a while. Like been trying to figure out the scheduling and everything, and we've done it, folks. Let's say hello. Poor Aaron Rush. I know that was rough. Oh man, what's up, King? It's so good to see you. King Campbreaker, our mods here in the chat. Let's go say hi to our good friend Wendy Harper. Hello, it's good to see you. Nice to see you here on the show. How's it going tonight?
Hello, it's going well. Glad to be here.
I love it a lot. So we've had a lot of fun chatting about music and sandwiches before we started the stream. So it's good to see you all here tonight. So just a couple of things off the top for our audience. So we have a lot of incentive things going right now. So we still have, once I hide this, we have 43 Bean Boozled beans to redeem. So if any of you want one, just yell bean in the chat. And And then we also have a new sub goal, because the Bugs Bunny voice redeem is pretty polarizing. So if you want to ban Bugs Bunny for the rest of the year, you just have to meet the sub goal for the next 2 months. So we'll see how you all do, but it's a big goal. So we'll see what's out there. Davey's such a brave bean. Nice. Okay, so there's one. Okay, there's one bean. All right, very good. But yeah, that's really nice. I didn't realize you were a lurker on Wendy Harper's stream. That's really cool, Looney. That's really great. We do love the vibe that you have.
I find so many people who tell me they lurk on my streams, and I'm like, I've never seen you. I just love it. You know what? People in my chat, it's none of my business. People who are lurking and listening to my stream, it's none of my business. You do your thing. I will do my thing. But it's nice. It's nice to kind of meet people who know me.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and it is really a fun stream for that purpose. And I say that because you're on a lot of times during the day, and it's actually really good for work. It's really helps with like productivity, and it's a very cozy vibe. Like it's really fun to have a harp streamer. It's interesting, it's different, it's unique. You know, you don't have a whole lot of harpists on Twitch. I mean, when you joined the platform, were you surprised at did you feel like you were kind of breaking some ground in a way, bringing a harp to the platform?
I mean, a little bit. I certainly wasn't the first harpist on Twitch. But what I do is different than what everyone else is doing. I feel like every harpist on Twitch is like that. We all have our own like different thing that we do.
Oh yeah.
And so that's really nice. We're not really stepping on each other's toes or anything.
I like that. I mean, it is actually really true. That's actually something I was thinking of too before we started. Like, I love that you bring your sense of humor to the stream, and the conversations are always really fun too. And yeah, you play all sorts of cool stuff. VGM, very solid base to draw from, and a lot of probably really popular games that you've taken you've arranged different pieces from. What have been some of your favorite soundtracks in from the video game genre that you've been able to arrange for your stream?
Chrono Trigger was some of the first tunes I started working on, and I mean it's a masterpiece of a soundtrack. And some of them actually took quite a bit of work because it just didn't fit the instrument very well. The Secret of the Forest specifically, I had to do a lot of work to make it work and sound good on the instrument. Whereas some other tracks, you just play it. That's the one that sticks out in my mind the most. But I mean, there's so much Zelda music. I love the Dark Souls stuff. And you really don't see a lot of people covering music from Dark Souls. But I'm probably most known for my Hollow Knight arrangements.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Now, would you attribute that to the fact? Does it have to do maybe with the idea that it translates well to the harp, or is it just simply that it's not been covered otherwise?
Both. It transfers extremely well to the harp, and I spent a lot of time arranging some of those songs. And that's another just absolute masterpiece of a soundtrack, and I'm very much looking forward to the sequel, Silk Song.
Nice.
This year, maybe? This year?
Hopefully.
I got work to do. Just give me the soundtrack, Christopher Larkin. Let me start working on it. But yeah, and then I did a huge YouTube video project of Hollow Knight arrangements with video editing that I did that includes gameplay and a performance video. And so that's like I think it's over 30 minutes of Hollow Knight music that I've played live on harp that I have. Well, not live, but I recorded it and created a video for it. So that has kind of that become the forefront of what people think of as far as like what I play for video game music, just because it was such a huge project.
Right. No, absolutely. And I know you've had some pretty good success on YouTube with some of these videos. Like, describe the feeling of seeing certain things trending well and things going viral.
I had one little short go kind of viral.
Mm-hmm.
I use that term lightly because when I think viral, I think it, like 1 million views. This one got probably 385,000 views.
It's pretty good.
And what is so what is so funny about it to me is that it's my original music.
Mm-hmm.
We all make mistakes.
Yeah, yeah.
Part of it, it's an excerpt. I changed some of the lyrics to fit Hollow Knight. But the video is Hollow Knight gameplay. That's it. It's all it is. It's my original music and video game footage. And that video just took off, and it was so weird to see. Yeah, and then my big Hollow Knight video is done pretty well too. So I think it's got like 18,000 views over. It's less than 2 years old, I think. So that's not too shabby considering it's a 30-minute,
Yeah.
30-minute video. It gets like 40 views a day.
Mm-hmm.
So
That is pretty
that's
good.
not too shabby.
Not too shabby, yeah. Absolutely.
For an old video, and I need to put some new stuff out. The latest one didn't get a lot of views, and that's okay. I didn't really expect it to.
Gotcha.
It was for a video game music video competition, which the results have not been announced or anything. It's mostly for fun. That was a project I wanted to do as kind of an experiment. It got some views. It's fine. I'm very happy with how it came out.
Very cool. Absolutely. For those of you joining us late, we are here with Wendy Harper, who's a harpist on Twitch and has been for, I would believe at this point, 3 years now. Pretty close, like, or just over, just under, or maybe even more. Like,
We're heading into 4 years in January.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's a great run. Saying hello to Looney Soy Sauce. Time for fun. I'm one of your biggest lurkers, Wendy. That's awesome. Welcome in. And
I'm about to out Time for Fun. That's my mother.
oh, right on. Well, hello, Mom. It's nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And King Dambreaker, also a major lurker. Love it. And horror host Joe. So nice to see you. Hello, Joe. How's it going this evening? Hope you're well. Purge. What? Now I do know Purge. Not a lurker. A good friend of ours in the chat. What is the opposite of a lurker? It's pretty much on point.
Yeah.
Great to see you, Purge. Welcome to the Sandwich Show. It's so nice to see you here. And we're also taking bean requests. So if you would like to see a Bean Boozled bean eaten on stream, just yell bean in the chat. Got 2 already. We'll bank those for later. But yeah, I think the question, going back to video game arrangements or just arrangements of any song, like, what do you listen for first when you try to make these arrangements? I mean, do you try to look for the bass first? Is there a specific thing you look for as you listen to music? And how many times would you have to listen to something before you have a feel for where things would go and how you would arrange them?
It depends on what it is. Some of the stuff I've arranged is very simple, and some of it is just writing the notes down, and sometimes I really don't have to do much to it. And then others, it's like just having to start, create something completely new. So I'm lazy. So if I have to arrange something, I'm going to look to see if a piano part exists and then work off that, because that saves me a ton of time. But in the often case that there is no piano music, nothing exists, then I have to go to the recording and just listen to it and figure out what it is. And depending on what that recording is, what the music is like, if it's a simple melody and a simple accompaniment, I can just transcribe it. If I need to adjust anything to make it work for harp, I could do that. But most of the music I play or arrange, because I think it works the best for the harp, is fairly melodic. So I'm looking to nail down that melody. That's the first thing. You want to figure out the rhythm and the key, but I want to lock down the melody and then figure out what I can do to support it. What kind of accompaniment is required.
Right. Absolutely. I think that's one of the most fascinating things from my point of view is how one would play a harp, because it looks like a really, really big guitar, but I know there's a lot more to it than that. I mean, if you look at this,
it's more similar to a piano.
Oh, right. So if you turn a piano like this, turn it like on its side, that's phenomenal. I love this. Yeah. So we talked about this on Friday. Actually, we were like, you have pedals on the. Did you know, folks? Did you know there are actually there are pedals on a harp that can adjust the tones of different strings, and it is so interesting to see that. I was not prepared to see that. But how does one play? Like, how would you break down the layout of a harp? Like, what do the strings represent?
Okay. And I wish I could have my pedal cam like I do on stream. So when you're on my stream,
Mm-hmm.
I have a camera attached to my harp pointing down at the pedals so you can like see my feet moving them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that tonight. I don't know how that would work. And I don't know if we could do that with Discord. I'd have to have like a second camera. But anyway, the way the harp works, don't let the strings fool you. It's basically a piano. We have our just a diatonic. So if you played the white keys in the piano, I'll make it sound more like that. This is what you would hear. This is your C major scale. So those are the white keys on the piano. If I want to have sharps and flats, which are represented by the black keys on the piano, I have to move a pedal. And that changes the white key to a black key, which is a gross oversimplification, but it'll get the point across if you're familiar with the piano. How it works, so the harp has 7 pedals, 1 for each pitch in the Western scale, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So 7 pedals. Each pedal can be in 3 different positions. So we can have flat, natural, and sharp. So I'm playing the same string. And so the way the pedals work, they are connected. You can't see the whole harp here. It's too big. It's like 6 feet tall. So the pedals are connected to these metal rods that go up the column of the instrument, which is this front part. So I can lean it back. So this is actually hollow.
Oh.
There are steel rods running up here. And then they are connected to this big, really complicated mechanism.
Wow.
It's called the action. And so those pedals are moving the rods, which move. There are hundreds of moving parts in this action. It's called all this like linkage. And so they are turning these little discs. So these are, I can't give you a close up, but it's basically a circle. And there are 2 disc pins. The string goes between the disc pins, and so when you move the pedal, it's turning, and so the string gets pinched.
Right.
And that's what raises the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we have 2 sets of discs. So if the string is open, it's in flat. So I'm going to move the pedal into natural. So this disc right here is going to turn, and then I can move it down again, and it'll turn this second disc.
Oh, I see them now. Yeah, those discs kind of rotate, and
they're turning.
Yeah.
And so it turns all of them in the same octave at the same time. So this is C.
Yeah, octaves. It's pretty good.
Yep. And so every pedal moves every octave of that particular pitch. And that's how we play in all the keys.
Pretty sweet, Wendy. That is really.
It's complicated.
Oh yeah, definitely. So what is the strategy for using the pedals? And do you just tune it so that you match a specific key signature? So, for example, if a specific song is in B flat, like would you just tune for that?
Yep, I would just put it in the key of B flat. And then lots of music requires sharps and flats, and it changes, has all these accidentals. Yeah, I can put it in any key.
I like it. Pretty good. So now when you talk about moving a harp, I know you mentioned a bit ago that you're going to be doing a concert pretty soon. How do you transport a harp that big to a gig?
I put it in my car and I drive.
You can put that in the car? Wow.
Yeah, I drive. Guess what car I drive, Davey? Guess what kind of car I drive?
I'm going to go on a limb and say it's Civic.
What do I drive?
I'm going to say, is it
a Civic?
I would start small and we'll go bigger.
I thought you would have gone the opposite. You'd be like, oh, she must drive a really big car to fit the harp in.
Mhm.
I drive a Prius.
Okay. Wow.
But most harpists will drive station wagons,
Okay.
or some will opt for the van.
Mhm.
Ideally, I prefer flat loading, which means the harp just slides in flat.
Okay.
As opposed to column loading, where the column and where it's like stacked vertically between like the seats in a minivan.
Mhm.
I prefer flat loading, and so like my back seats in my Prius are just always folded down. I've got a really thick gym mat,
Mhm.
which just helps add a little extra cushioning and helps the harp like slide in.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah.
But it's big and awkward, but it weighs 75 pounds, which isn't that much. And as far as like moving it around, I have a cart, like a dolly,
Okay.
that is specifically designed. So I just wheel it around. I don't really have to do a lot of heavy lifting or anything.
Oh, okay.
But it is just like a big awkward thing to move around.
Yeah.
You gotta watch doorways.
Absolutely.
It's just very tall.
Yeah. King says, Davey, can you see the different color of the strings? Are there specific notes? I do see the different colors on the strings. You're right.
I have a very colorful background, which is really not helpful for this. But the red ones are C.
Okay.
And then Fs are kind of like a blackish blue.
Mhm.
And then the rest is all just kind of a neutral
Okay.
color.
I mean, that's a good
You can see
idea,
the-
though. Like, it helps you figure out where everything is. Like, it's not too
You
bad.
can see that
Yeah.
that low F against the white background. If they were all the same color, it would just be impossible.
I hear that. Yeah.
It's just visual markers
Mhm.
when we're jumping around.
Yep. So
I would
Purge.
quit.
Now, Purge with a very quick question. I think Purge already knows. I think Purge is already familiar with this background. So Purge is, what's up with that background? Well, that's a great segue. So the background, to my understanding, is a representation of the songs you have submitted for a monthly songwriting challenge you do each month, and
For the most part, yeah, that's correct.
pretty good.
And I'm pretty sure Purge is not going to ask a single question tonight that he doesn't already know the answer to.
Yep.
So the background. So before I started hosting my own monthly songwriting challenge, I participated in a challenge that was started by someone else who doesn't really stream anymore. He went by The Drive, and he was like a graphic design artist. Did mostly like Blender and stuff. And he started a monthly creative challenge. It was really geared for like artists, visual artists, either digital or traditional. And these were all my friends that I was hanging out with, and I was just like, I asked them like, can I try writing a song? I didn't really write songs before I started streaming on Twitch. Twitch has been a very interesting experience. And so the first prompt that I ever wrote a song for on Twitch was vending machine. Never ever thought I would write a song about a vending machine. And I did. I ended up coming up with a song. It's called Life is a Bitch and Then You Die. So obviously, I think that's one of my mom's favorite songs. She loves that song.
I remember that
So
song.
yeah, they're all mixed up now. But yeah, we've got like road sign, boat, helmet, castle, coffee, toast, campfire. So The Drive did 1 year of challenges, and then he decided to stop. And I'm like, well, I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
So I had 12 paintings, and the wall needed more. So at that point, I had written a few more, and ended up commissioning. These were all painted by Time for Fun, who was here in chat, by the way. Very talented artist. So I added some non-prompt challenges just to kind of fill out the wall. But yeah, so I started songwriting. They're not all good, but I've learned a lot, and I think I have written some songs that I'm quite proud of. And yeah, so that is the background. It's loud and colorful, just like my songs.
Yeah, that 100%. I mean, I'm glad that Toast was part of that legacy. Like, it's
Yes. I know.
It's pretty cool. I hope the prompt was toast, because if it was something else, it would have been even. Or maybe that would have been good.
It was toaster.
Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
So
I like it.
yeah.
Yeah. Quick question: was "We All Make Mistakes" prompted by a prompt at all, or is that just done?
No.
Okay.
It is one of a handful of songs that I wrote just for the heck of it. So yeah, just occasionally inspiration will strike. So we all make mistakes. What was the other one? I Want to Be a Supervillain. I wrote that just because I had an idea for a song and I wanted to see if I could make it work. And that one has become very popular too. And then I ended up writing an original song as an end of stream song.
Oh yeah,
I think those are the only 3.
It's pretty cool.
That I wrote for that were not part of a prompt challenge.
So, Wendy, when you make prompts for the monthly challenge, which allows anybody that follows your channel to submit songs for the challenge, that's really cool.
You have done that too.
I have. I was blessed to be part of that. It was fun. That was a fun time too. But what inspires your prompts? Like, how do you come up with what is your methodology for coming up with a prompt each month?
So what was interesting about the Drive prompts were they were all physical objects, which makes sense because they were geared towards visual artists. So everything was a physical object. And so I try to be a little bit more abstract. Vending machine is a perfectly fine prompt, I guess. I try to go for more abstract concepts that can be interpreted many ways. That is, I want it to be as open-ended as possible, because what I find most interesting about the people who submit music for these challenges is where people go with the prompts. And the one that stands out to me, Brinkwater wrote a song. The prompt was retreat. I said you could think of it, any way of the word. Like retreat, like a vacation. Retreat, like you're surrender, like you're, retreating. And so he wrote a song called "Retreat Yourself," like that you did so good that you can give yourself another treat.
Oh, that's funny. Like like a dog treat or even like a human treat. I love it.
But retreat yourself, and
that is clever.
That is so funny to me. That's what I really like about it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, and I do appreciate the creativity involved in that. Like, I do love people who switch it up. Like, it's not necessarily movement. It's just like, I'm just gonna treat myself again. Pretty good. Hey, we got a segue over here. It's time for, speaking of treats, it is that time. Has your sandwich arrived?
It has arrived.
Okay, so let me go ahead and bring everybody in. Feel free to go grab it, and I'll transition us. Okay. But first, before you get it, I want to bring in our intro. It's time for the... Oh. I was supposed to be up here. Well, all right. It's Sandwich of the Week, everybody. And so Wendy's on her way to get her sandwich. So good to see you all here. While Wendy gets the sandwich, why don't I... Is it not here?
I've got it.
Oh, you already got it already? That was fast.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I know.
So let me just get these 2 beans going for everyone. So this one's strawberry banana smoothie or dead fish.
Oof.
It's dead fish. That sucks. Okay.
Oh, that's awful.
Well, I have to do it now. I don't want to... Actually, this is bad timing. I should have done it after the sandwich, but... Oh, well.
You want the sandwich to kill the flavor, right? So the sandwich hopefully tastes better, and
I hope so too.
Will help you recover. Help your taste buds recover. I will never do Bean Boozled on my stream.
You're smart. You're the smart one there.
Absolutely
that's smart
not.
Call. Good call.
I ate a Snickle once as part of I think it was like a donation challenge or something. Never again. I'm not a food challenge person. Not interested.
You save yourself a lot of grief by doing that, Wendy, so I applaud you. This one's either stink bug or marshmallow.
Ugh.
Oh
man.
So while I suffer over this, Lone Story, so good to see you, by the way. Irene Payne, what's up? Good to see you. Sawyer, it's so good to see you. We have thank you for the 200 biddies, Davy's Things sandwiches. It's interesting you bring that up, Irene. Let me get into that in a second. But first, as I digest this terrible taste, Wendy, let's get your sandwich of the week.
All right. So, this might be isn't a might be. It's definitely a controversial choice. I went with a Chicago hot dog.
I endorse your choice. You are safe here.
I can.
That looks good.
I don't want to get it too much on top of my keyboard, but it's there. So it's got the hot dog, mustard. I think it's got pickle relish. It's got sport peppers. That's the main draw for me. Pickle spear, tomato slices, celery salt, poppy seed bun. That is the Chicago dog.
I love it. Yeah, the Lone Sawyer has mentioned that their screen is plain white. I think it's on their end. So Sawyer, hopefully a refresh will fix your situation. What's up, Alistair UK? What's going on? Shout out Alistair UK. Purge Lights says boo. I think that's in response to the bean.
I think that's
that was in response to your
the
hot dog comment. Yeah.
that makes sense.
Listen, you've got an ally.
So,
I'm a hot dog ally. I'm on your side. So you're good. You're good.
Well, so you say that, but and my husband agrees.
Yeah.
We think hot dog is a taco.
I'm good with that too. I mean, I don't put my arms around it, but I think it's fine. Like, I would be willing to manage that assertion, and I would not argue against it. So, but either way, it's amazing, and you're in the perfect market for it. Obviously, you live in Chicago dog. It's a great call. I love it.
I had to do it. And when you eat a sandwich, you pretty much eat it straight on, right? Most of the time.
Right. Yeah,
You're
exactly.
not like turning or anything. But when you eat a taco, and I think when I eat a hot dog, I turn a little bit, and I think that furthers the justification of it is a taco.
That's interesting. I think you're right about that. Like, it's funny that even a sub sandwich, maybe you do a little turning on that too. I'm not sure. Is that a taco?
But no one's just taking a hot dog and just like eating it straight on. There's like a little bit of like maneuvering that's required.
Definitely. I subscribe to that. Yeah. It's really great, astute observations. Like, really, really, really well. But Irene, thank you so much for the $10 dono. You're so kind, Irene. I appreciate it. So, we'll get to that in a sec. You remember we were talking. You mentioned that earlier, Wendy, that I had a song for your songwriting challenge, which is pretty cool. So I was in another like songwriting session last weekend on Irene's channel. Irene had a really cool songwriting session. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate the invite to that too. Like, that means a lot. Like, thank you so much for that. Like, it was really great to hang out. But Irene, thank you for your $10 dono. I appreciate it. So now, sandwich of the week. Here it is. Without further delay. This is. It looks like a Neapolitan ice cream sandwich, but it's actually a sandwich. This is Gouda cheese. This is a I guess I would call it a club sandwich of sorts, because this is like Gouda cheese with roast beef and honey glazed turkey. It looks like ham, but it's actually turkey, and it's on sourdough bread with horseradish cream sauce, which I'm particularly fond of. So that's my sandwich. Your sandwich looks great, and let's enjoy it. Pretty good.
Yeah, interesting that you call it a club sandwich. I thought that having like that extra slice of bread in the middle was like integral to calling something a club sandwich.
Oh, true.
I'm also very impressed at the thickness of that Gouda.
Oh yeah,
that's a good sandwich.
It really did come out, didn't it? I love it too. This is tasting great.
Looks real thick.
So we have a place. I know that the biggest, most well-known Chicago hot dog place in Chicago is Portillo's, and the cool thing is, out here in California, we do have a Portillo's. It's just that it's kind of far, but it's at least drivable. So like, when I do need that kind of a fix, I can go with it. But I've heard it's really good.
Well, it's LA. Everything's drivable.
Well,
it's just whether you want to go there. Oh, it's okay with fries.
Yeah.
Also, I'm from LA.
I was about to ask about that. I was wondering if you were originally from Chicago.
Nope.
Wow, I did not hear you're from LA. That's pretty cool.
Born and raised in LA. But no one would ever peg me as a West Coaster because of my personality.
Right.
I've lived in Chicago for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's home.
I love it.
I went to school on the East Coast, upstate New York. So I've lived all over.
Mm-hmm.
And Chicago is home.
Oh man, sorry. I'm so sorry about your video situation. Oh, that stinks. Mods, if there's anything you could offer to the Sawyer to help him out, I mean, I'd appreciate it. I mean, honestly, I would say restart the stream or stop the stream, start it again, but I'm getting into my IT speak. Like, yeah, I mean, it is kind of an odd spot. Different browsers too. That's so strange. Perch says 8.5 out of 10. Thank you. What makes it a club sandwich is the toothpick. Oh, that's true. That's true. No, we have dissension.
No.
Not
Because you
agree.
can have other sandwiches with toothpicks.
Okay. Oh, okay. Right on, Sawyer.
It's just a stabilizer.
It kind of works too. Like you wouldn't think it would do much, but it actually does help a lot. Like you take it out.
It really does. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really cool to see you've been well traveled. And I think the question for me is what brought you to Chicago? Like what was it that inspired you to move there?
Harps in school.
Oh.
So,
How do you?
So I lived in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Till the end of high school. We lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma for 4 years, in like the middle of that, but we can just gloss over that. So I graduated high school in Los Angeles, and then I decided to go to the Eastman School of Music in upstate New York. It's in Rochester.
Mm-hmm.
I spent 4 years there, got a bachelor's degree in harp performance. And then I was looking at getting a master's degree, but I didn't want to stay there. So I auditioned at the Chicago College of Performing Arts to study with the Chicago Symphony Harpist, and the Manhattan School of Music to study with the one of the harpists who plays at the Metropolitan Opera. And so I ended up getting into both of those. I got accepted, but I didn't get any scholarship money. And I had also been looking at an apprenticeship at a harp factory that is in Chicago. This harp was made in Chicago. We've been making harps for over 100 years. And they have a technician apprenticeship, which is a 1-year program, which is what I ended up doing. So I moved here, took a year off from school, which I think was actually the best decision, to not go straight into a master's program. Took a year off. And yeah, I went to work as a harp technician apprentice.
Oh wow!
I did that for a year,
mm-hmm.
And then I had continued my developing a relationship with the Chicago Symphony Harpist because the previous year she didn't know who I was really. I was just some random person.
Mm-hmm.
And so once my apprenticeship was over, I re-auditioned for a master's program, just that one school, and I got in. And I got a decent scholarship, so that's what I decided to do. And the factory allowed me to stay on as an independent contractor. And I've been an independent contractor there for 15 years. Or 14 years, I guess.
So,
I still am today.
Wow.
I was there today.
So you really know the ins and outs of the harp. This is impressive.
Yeah. So a harp technician is kind of like a piano tuner.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit more involved. Like, it's not tuning the instrument. It's every harpist should be able to tune their own instrument. Like you tune up a guitar, you just turn the pegs, make it in tune. But like pianists can't just tune their instrument unless they're trained to do so and have the right tools. So that's what I decided to do. I learned a trade, and so I worked as a tech for them for quite a few years, and then I eventually transitioned out. They didn't need extra techs in-house anymore. And they needed a harp tester, so like quality control. So that's what I've been doing for, I'm not even sure how many years at this point. Probably 6 years, maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do. I literally play harp for a living now.
That is the coolest. That is really cool. Like
And I'll still do like harp regulations on the
Mhm.
side. Like I was regulating harp for another professional in town last week. So I still do that on occasion,
Mhm.
but I don't do that like every day anymore.
Oh, I gotcha. Let me just quickly welcome our friend Mon Samurgi. What's up, Mon? So good to see her. Follow our friend Mon, an awesome artist on Twitch. I hope she's hanging in there. I'm glad to see you. And so when I think the question I ask is an obvious question. What inspired you to play harp?
I honestly don't remember. I was young and stupid. Um, my mother was very interested in supporting me studying music from a very early age. So I started piano lessons at 3 years old. I wanted to play all the instruments, which is insane. But I think I took guitar lessons for a year. I didn't really like it. It really hurt to press the strings against
Mm-hmm.
the board. It wasn't my instrument. Um, and so I think they were very grateful that I started, you know, asking them about harp before drums and trumpet and violin.
Right.
I mean, harp is one of the more expensive things you're gonna get, but anyone can go up to a harp and make a nice sound. That is not true of most instruments.
True. Mm-hmm. I
I'm
mean,
sure my mother can chime in chat with more with more information. And then started middle school, and my mother was interested in what I could do to make myself more well-rounded and get more scholarship money for college. So she insisted I play a band instrument, and I wanted to play percussion. And she had talked to the band director and asked what instrument was more high demand. And he's like, the oboe. And I was like, what is an oboe? um, so I played the duck flute for like 6 years. affectionately called the duck flute.
oh, so that
I actually really enjoyed it.
It's cool.
I played oboe and English horn. So that was my wind instrument that I played until the end of high school, and then never again.
So that was a quick turnaround. I think that's a really interesting journey, though. I mean, I love that you're dabbling with other instruments on the way too. So, pretty cool.
I could have double majored, but I think I would have been really miserable.
Gotcha.
Because oboe, you have to make your own reeds. Whereas this, I can just like slap a new harp string on this in like a minute. But oboists spend a lot of time making reeds, and I didn't want to do that. And I think it just would have been too much to study two instruments. One's enough. And I knew I wanted to play harp professionally. The big draw is that I can play by myself. Where it's similar to like a piano, where you can go and play like a solo gig. But when you play a wind instrument or a string instrument, you generally are going to require other people to play with.
Yeah.
No one's hiring a solo oboist for their wedding. I mean, if they are, like,
I would love to see
y'all
that.
are weird, and I want to come to your wedding. But I thought just from the financial aspect of being a professional musician, having an instrument where I can go out and play gigs by myself, you know, and it's a high demand instrument for weddings and corporate events and stuff like that. I figured I could make money doing it.
That's so cool. I will tell you what, a lot to unpack with that. I hope one day I can find the solo oboist playing somewhere in the bar.
busking
Right.
in the subway.
It'd be so good. And then the second thing is I want to welcome Aaron Schiff to the show. How's it going, Aaron?
Oh my God, Aaron Schiff won.
What is up? Aaron Schiff won, the legend that is Aaron Schiff won. It's good to see you, Aaron.
Absolute legend.
Absolutely. Mods, can we give a shout out to Aaron Schiff One? Like, Aaron streams too. Like, Aaron is also just always streams some good games and so on.
He's a pro streamer.
100%. 100%. I've had a lot of fun like hanging out with Aaron when I can. Oh, that's so great. That's great news. Sorry, thank you so much for. I appreciate you. No idea what I fixed, but it works. No worries. I'm glad you got it. Really sorry you've had that issue. I mean, I'm feeling bad about it for a bit there. Sorry. So welcome in. All right. So it's nice to see you all vibing here. I have this as Wendy completes the remainder of the. Oh, where's your feed over here? Let me go bring you back up. There we go.
Where did I go? There
we go. There we go. I love it. Okay, so we have this for we have a Bean Boozled redeem for Alistair UK. Speaking of variety streamers, good to see you. All right, so here it is. This is the choice. We have either pomegranate or dirty bandage. This will be bean number 3 tonight. Damn it!
Oh no, it's a bad night.
Yeah.
What I want to know is how food scientists research these flavors.
Right? Like
that I want to know, but also don't want to know.
Yeah, that's gonna get gnarly. I agree with you. But anyway, thank you, Alistair. Yes, you win. Congratulations. Ugh. I think the biggest flaw in this whole setup is that I did not situate this for money. Like, it should have been like a 300-bit redeem of some sort.
It's never too late.
I guess you're right about that.
Switch it up.
Wouldn't be a bad call. Make people earn it. Alistair says, but he's got so immune that it's no fun anymore. That's the trick of it. If you abuse the privilege of the Bean Boozled redeem, I'm gonna start liking them, and then that's not gonna be fun for anybody. Tis fine. I still never received the postcard, which is fair. It's just fair. I owe you one. Purge says you're just lowering the pool of bad beans. Soon you'll have good beans only. I love the attitude.
That's true.
That's true.
What an optimistic way to look at that, Purge Light.
That was a great. Yeah, I really appreciate that, Purge. You're very kind. I really like that. Like, that just makes me feel good now. Like, I'm gonna have a good one now.
That's right. The next one you'll eat would be like toenails or something.
Yeah.
And that feeling will pass.
Hey, what's going on, Kara? It's good to see you. Kara Acoustic has joined us tonight. Mods, let's shout out Kara as well. No, I did put it in the post. I'm gonna have to just get another one, I guess. But anyway, here's a sandwich tonight. This is a Neapolitan sandwich, I guess. This has got a massive amount of Gouda cheese, which we both like. This is great. And then we also have a roast beef and turkey. There we go. Oh man, look at that. That's chunky cheese right there.
My second choice, if I had not brought the Chicago dog, it was going to be a fancy grilled cheese sandwich.
Oh, that's an excellent call. You also have our mod friends King Dampbreaker's attention with the grilled cheese. So
there's a place called Cheesy's.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a rare treat. I don't eat this all the time, but it's Texas toast. I think cheddar cheese, but it's called the popper. So it's basically a jalapeno popper flavored grilled cheese. So it's got jalapenos in it. It's got cream cheese. It's got bacon. It's delicious.
That does sound great. That sounds good. I hope you heard that, King. That sounds like a really great grilled cheese right there. That's pretty good. Yeah. Let's see. Store purchased cheese slice on his sandwich. Well, I'm not making cheese at home. Like, I don't have like a dairy farm in my backyard. Like,
that's the next step.
Probably. I think you're right. But Alistair has called me out repeatedly. He's a good friend of ours, like, just to be clear. But he's called me out for not making my own sandwich. But tonight I did. This is my own sandwich. I made this from scratch. This is pretty good. I love this one. Let's see. Store purchased cheese slice. It's not. Oh, buy a block and slice it? Would you do that? Like just get the whole block and like slice it yourself? I've never thought about that. I mean, I have the deli slice it most of the time, but
You gotta raise your own cows too for the roast beef.
Exactly. From scratch.
Backyard to table. make everything. Grow your own mustard seeds. Make your own mustard.
That's great. That's great. I love that.
You gotta have chickens. If you like mayo, you gotta have chickens. 'Cause that's got eggs in it.
You gotta get the eggs, yeah. Raise them from scratch.
Sandwiches are real expensive, man.
And then we gotta make our own bread. So we have to grow like a wheat, batch of wheat in the back.
It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
First, just raising cows is hella expensive.
That's true.
KR's like, wait, you don't make your own cheese? I know. It's outrageous. What am I gonna do with myself? I'm ashamed. Grow your own weed. You get the point. Yeah, there you go.
You gotta make your own ketchup.
You know,
it's like a whole thing too.
Yeah, it's a whole thing too. But homemade ketchup is really good. Like if you've ever had a chance to go to a place that makes their own ketchup, it's great. So good.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. So where are we at? I think we had a question from Looney's soy sauce. We can throw this one in for you. Let's see. Wendy, who is your favorite composer to play, and your favorite composer to listen to?
Okay. I mean, how do you choose? If we're just talking about like classical music, stuff that I love to play. I love playing like really romantic, like French music. That is just with really like lush harmonies. That is what I enjoy. I can't just come up with like a single piece that's like my favorite or a favorite composer, but the composers that get me to buy concert tickets: Shostakovich, Mahler. I haven't been to the opera in many years, but some of the operas that I've most enjoyed are some of like the weirder ones. Really liked Lulu, which is by Berg. Very, very, very modern. And Britain, Midsummer Night's Dream.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like, and everything, the way they was staged and costume, it was so interesting. So I don't know. Yeah, it has to be kind of interesting to kind of get my attention. But I mean, I love lots of composers, and some of them don't really write much for harp either. Rachmaninoff's Third Piano Concerto was one of my favorites, and there's no harp part in that, as much as I wish there was.
That's pretty sweet. I mean, and then Looney responds, a Berg opera? I guess Shosti. Oh, interesting. Shosti. Interesting.
There's a lot of good Shostakovich symphonies. I think the last one I played was 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet. Looney says, did they just sing 12-tone Rose?
No. I mean, it's very... I mean, 12-tone music isn't as strict as it might seem, especially when you're working with a full orchestra, because those rows when they do like want to adhere, the rows are broken up between all the different sections of the orchestra, so it can still be very melodic. But yeah, Lulu was wild. Yeah, so was the Britain too, and the Britain. Midsummer Night's Dream is one of the characters is a countertenor. If anyone doesn't know what that is, it's a very specific kind of tenor that I think primarily is singing in falsetto. So it basically is a male soprano. And it was, very, very interesting music.
That's really great. Thank you for your question, Looney. And actually, really is a good opportunity to segue everybody else into asking questions in our next segment, which we call America's Favorite Moment in Twitch broadcasting.
Do the dance. It's time for random questions. Great stuff. Ask us anything.
All right, let's do it. So to ask a question of our friend Wendy Harper, use ! Question followed by your question. Put it in the chat, enter it in, and we'll answer your question in order as we get them in our queue. It's so good to see you. I love the Schubert Walk emote too, Aaron. So feel free to ask away. Purge has had a lot of great questions already, and so has Looney. So thank you so much for those questions. So keep them rolling. You can ask us about anything. It doesn't have to be about music. or sandwiches, or raising cows in the back, or what was the comment that Purge had? Oh, alternative strategy: grow one of the ingredients and barter with other people who grow their own single ingredient.
It takes a village to make a sandwich.
It really does. And if you want butter, then that's just a whole other thing. Like, you just have to get the cows to like make the right milk and hire some people to churn the butter. And this there's a lot going on.
You gotta feed them the right stuff, otherwise they start spitting out chocolate milk, and that's like a whole. No one wants chocolate cheese.
I don't know. Maybe probably not though. Yeah, probably not.
No.
That'd be weird. That'd be weird. There's no doubt. By the way, Kara, it has been a minute. I hope you're well. I know you've been out and doing a lot of gigs, so I hope you're doing well right out there. Nice to see you again. Keep those questions coming. We got a bunch of them in the queue already. That's great. Let's go ahead and let's queue these. Let's do this. Okay. So I don't know how this works. I think I'm gonna do this. Yes, this is great. Okay, cool. All right, first question out of the box is from our friend King Downbreaker. Thank you for joining us, King. The question is, living or dead, who would you most wish to perform alongside on stage?
Oh my gosh. David Bowie.
Oh, that's great. That's a great call.
Like,
That's
that
a
would
great
be wild. I mean, classical music, whatever. Like, to be part of like a show like that, like, holy shit, David Bowie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's pretty stellar. I love the choice. That's a great call. What song would you want to do with David Bowie, like right off the top?
Oh my gosh. I think Starman could use some harp.
Yeah. Now, okay, let me follow that up. If you could have David Bowie collab with you on one of your songs, what song would you want him for?
Something that's already written.
Right.
What do I think David Bowie? Probably I Want to Be a Supervillain.
Yeah.
I could see him getting into that one.
That's so good. That's so good. Man, I hope that happens. I hope there's a way for the multiverse to make that happen. Like, that just sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I want that. And then let us know when it's on Twitch so we can watch too. So
Yeah, cool. Will do.
Thank you, King, for the question. Great question. Next question from Looney Soy Sauce. What's some of the best advice or nugget? I was thinking chicken nugget for a second there. I'm sorry. What's some of the best advice or nugget of wisdom you've been given in your life?
I think okay. So I'm gonna give. I don't know if this counts. I think it does. It's more of just like a philosophy. So when I was studying piano as a child, there were several times that I wanted to quit because practicing is work, and I was a child and I wanted to do more fun things. So in order to keep me from quitting, my mother would change my piano teacher, or she would talk to the piano teacher and have them change the music. Something more fun. It was to keep it interesting so that I didn't quit, because the issue really wasn't the piano. It was that I just wasn't having fun. And she was very good about keeping me going without having to force me to do it like a lot of parents do. And that is something that I have kind of kept with me and repurposed in lots of other different ways. Because there have been times I didn't enjoy the harp. I went through a very severe burnout before Twitch. And actually, Twitch is one of the things that I wanted to do to kind of help get me out of that. It was like 3 years maybe.
Wow.
I didn't practice. I played harp as little as possible. It was still like what I did for a living. So I learned the music I had to learn. I did my gigs. But I would return home from a gig and I would just put the harp down. I wouldn't even uncover it, and it would just sit there. Granted, I played harp at work, but like, I had no interest in playing harp for fun, it wasn't fun. And so coming to Twitch and starting to arrange video game music is what kind of brought me out of that. Because arranging video game music, one, it's fun to listen to. I love like checking out new soundtracks from games I haven't played, but you can find some really great music. And arranging is like a puzzle. Each one's different, and I really enjoy the challenge of taking music that was not written specifically for harp and figuring out how to make it playable.
That's pretty amazing that Twitch actually, in a lot of ways, like it revived your harp career or your enthusiasm. Maybe not career, but your enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it has inspired me to branch out in other creative ways too. I also didn't used to sing.
Oh, that is interesting. I guess that would make. I guess that is something with harpists, like, don't typically sing. It seems, to my knowledge,
it's very difficult.
Yeah,
it's very difficult. I didn't think it would ever be something that I did.
Yeah.
And I didn't write songs before I started Twitch. So it has chat. I blame chat mostly, but Twitch has like changed my life, and I've met some pretty cool people along the way too. Made some friends, some like real life forever friends. So it's been an interesting experience for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really great, insightful stuff. And Looney says, "Thank you for your thoughtful answer." I concur. It's really good stuff. Thank you, Looney, for your question. It's a really good question. And purchases, you're welcome. we appreciate your purge. You're awesome. Your mom says there is chocolate cheese. Oh my goodness. That
we have had chocolate cheese in our house.
Mm-hmm.
I did not. I regret and don't regret not trying it. I didn't try it. It was here.
Mm-hmm.
The consensus among people who tried it, including Purge Light, I believe, was that it was not good. And I didn't want to eat it. If it's not good, I don't want to eat it.
Yeah,
I wasn't curious enough to try the chocolate cheese, but it is a thing that exists. Maybe I'll try it at some point. But it was not that day. It was not that day.
I hear it. No, so that's kind of an interesting sidebar. Purge is local to you.
Yeah.
Cool.
We've known Purge is best friends with my husband.
Oh, I love that. Okay, great.
We've known, most of my mods. Well, at this point, I've met all my mods in person, but in the beginning, all my mods were just people I knew, literally lived here, and have been in my house.
I mean, it's a good place to start, though. And yeah, I mean, that is pretty useful. That is pretty neat. And sometimes if you have a mod appreciation night, like you could theoretically like schedule a happy hour in town. So that's actually kind of a fun idea.
We've done that.
Yeah.
The Cords family lived the furthest away, but they have visited. Literally all of my mods have been in my house.
Nice.
Mark Cords and his wife Elizabeth. 09. I met Luna Sear at a VGM con, and Graxanoff, the legend on Twitch, I met him at VGM con as well, and all the others have come to visit from various places, not too far. Most of them are local.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Yeah, it's good to hear. Just you mentioned Mark. It's always Mark's good people. Like, it's really great that you got to meet him in person. Something we all hope to do.
He got me very drunk.
I think that tracks.
On stream, he got me very drunk.
100%. So yeah, thank you for your questions. I think that was just my own question, but so let's go to the next question from Purge. In a good question, upcoming projects. And hey, Brett, how's it going?
Hey.
Good to see you.
I've got a few. So the one that's taking up all my time right now is this concert that I have on, not tomorrow, but next Wednesday in Pennsylvania. So I'm driving out on Saturday, and then returning the next Saturday. So it's going to be a whole week without streams, and I'm gonna miss it. But I'm going to be very busy.
What part of Pennsylvania?
So it is a Kutztown specifically. Kutztown University. So it's like kind of near Harrisburg, Reading, so what's taking me out there? I have a friend who is a professional percussionist. He is starting. I think just last year he started a position at Kutztown University as a director of their Center for Mallet Percussion Research. So they have this huge building that houses all sorts of historical percussion, like mallet percussion instruments. They've got like vintage vibraphones and marimbas and xylophones and like all sorts of weird stuff. And they have a recital series that they're starting this year. And so we are working on another project, and he asked me if I would be interested in doing a recital with him in Pennsylvania. So yeah, we threw together a recital program, kind of a wide variety of music. He's doing like a solo thing. He's got another percussionist, so they're doing like a duo thing. So it's like a variety of stuff. But we're doing a Debussy piece together, so it's going to be harp and vibraphone. We're doing 3 Hollow Night arrangements that I did, and we've got a couple of other things. We have this Baroque piece, and we're going to do something very contemporary as well. So it's a very varied program, and it's going to be live streamed. And I would be happy to provide a link, either now or later. I will be posting that in my Discord and on socials as it gets closer.
Well, we'll do that. I'll be on the lookout for that. We can do this. And if anybody, Purge, if you have the link, go ahead and put it in the chat. Absolutely, you have my permission for sure. We'd love to follow along. And
it'll just be on YouTube.
Okay, sounds good to me. That'd be really good. Oh, you don't? I'm sorry. No worries. We'll be on the lookout. We'll post it in self promo or something.
It's in Discord. Purge. Note to self. I just put it in there to save. So yeah, that's my most like pressing project for right now. But we're heading into the orchestra season, and I'm performing with 4 different orchestras, and so I'm going to be quite busy.
Yeah, I love that. You know the gig you mentioned next week, in Kutztown, is only 45 minutes away from our friend Brettington Frothing Slosh, who just checked in. What's up, Brett? It's good to see you.
Oh,
pretty cool.
That is very cool.
Now that sounds like a really fun event. Yeah, some good times. But thank you for breaking that down. I'm gonna pin this so that everybody can see. There we go. Yeah, there's a link to the channel where you can find. And I should probably follow it. So it's all. Is this like multiple days next week or particular?
It's just Wednesday. It's Wednesday night. It's just a single concert. Yeah, if anyone's in the area and they want to come, it's on the calendar on the university website. But for anyone who is not local, it will be live streamed, and that it will be also available as a VOD afterward. So
that's clutch.
Plenty of times to see what we did.
Well, have a great trip. That sounds like a great time.
Yeah, I'm excited to see some friends. I'm trying to hook up with some streamers.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
See if we can make it work.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool. Now, who's around there? I'm trying to think. I mean, Brett is around there. We mentioned Brett, but in addition.
Do you remember Dr. Nice?
Yes, I do know Dr. Nice.
Yeah, he doesn't stream anymore. I'm trying to meet up with him.
Cool.
And then another little streamer who doesn't really stream anymore. His name is Mark Earshai. He's incredibly talented pianist.
That's great.
And singer, and we're gonna connect as he's on his way to a different concert. So he's gonna be like passing by. So, but I've got family in the area too, so I'm just looking forward to hanging out with people.
Yeah. Brett offers some local advice. It's a nice little town. You'll like it. If you like physical media, great record store. They're called Young Ones with a great brewery across from it. Good stuff.
Ooh. I'm all about that local beer.
Yeah, beer's where it's at. I mean, that's something I think that's something that can bring people together for sure. So thank you, Purge. Great question. I'll have the next question is my question, which is the question. It's our tradition here on this channel. So we usually give you a breakfast food, and we want to see what side you're on here. So I'll give you the choices: French toast, pancakes, waffles, or crepes.
Um. Oh boy. It's definitely not French toast, and it's not crepes. But depending on my mood, it would definitely be pancakes or waffles.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, and it just depends. It depends on what kind of pancakes and what kind of waffles we're talking about here. Um, but I'm gonna go waffles.
Waffles, nice. All right, waffles wins. And some of our friends in our chat love it. Breddington's all about it. Love it. Good times. Well, I mean, you can't go wrong with either of those. So, I mean, you have no quarrel for me. That's pretty good.
I mean, I've had bad pancakes, or they're just like too dense
Mm-hmm.
or too thick. It just depends.
Yeah. Valid, very valid. Absolutely. I definitely have had bad pancakes. Oh. Maybe
Or like even a bad waffle that's like too crunchy or something. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. It could all be bad, but I like never will go for the French toast. And probably would never even occur to me to order crepes.
Well, purchase. I like the crepes at 0 votes as it should be. I think I just didn't put the number up. I think there is a number if you were to vote for. I just forgot to like add it to the command, but
no one's voting for crepes.
I don't think anyone's gonna vote for them anyway, though. So purchase ultimately correct. All right, so let's go to the next question. Purge, with the question: are we best friends?
No. You're best friends with Robbie. We also can't be best friends. I don't think that works.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty funny.
Wait, well, also, do I need to clarify? Are you talking about best friends or best friends? He knows what I'm talking about.
I think it's really cool that you have such a cool husband. Like, it's also really musically inclined. Like, it's really neat. A really neat partnership. I mean, how did you all meet?
He's a unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
Robbie is magical. He's like literally magic. We met. So our wedding anniversary is coming up in a couple months. So we'll have been together, married 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we met randomly in an Argentine tango dance class.
No kidding. Wow.
When I said I was trying to recover from burnout, I was trying to find some like non-harp. I was looking for a hobby, some non-harp related activity to meet some new people, and so Robbie and I met because of Groupon.
We met because of Groupon. The fates.
There was a Groupon deal for Argentine tango dance classes. It was like a stupid good deal, and the studio was like 2 blocks from my apartment. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm absolutely buying this. And so I went to one just class randomly on my own. I was bad at it. But I went back, and that's when I met Robbie.
What an amazing story. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And the rest is, as they say, is history, folks. Pretty cool. Mm-hmm. All right, so our question queue is wide open. If any of you in our chat would like to ask a question of Wendy Harper, please use ! Question and then enter your question in the chat. Put that in, and we'll cue your question right away.
Well, I have a question for you, and I've already told you I was going to ask you this. I'm just wondering if you remembered. What is the weirdest sandwich that someone has brought on your show?
Oh yeah, so it's a weird sandwich on the show. Yeah. That is, yeah, and I did try to think about it. You cycle through the month, and it's been 2.5 years now. Like it's a lot of sandwiches. So I'm trying to.
It's a lot of sandwiches.
A lot of sandwiches. Like, I mean, some of the more unusual choices we've had are still not that unusual. Like, I think the most surprising one was when, and this is not Adam's fault, but you know our good friend Adam, like our friend Adam A. Nelson, aka Rock the Piano.
Oh, Rock the Piano, who has also been in my house.
That's cool, and that tracks too, because like you all are like basically neighbors, basically.
Yeah. It's amazing how many people I met in Chicago only because of Twitch, and I would have otherwise never known they existed.
That's wild how that works out. You know, it's really great. Have you met Bill Larkin yet, or Lisa Carlson?
I have seen Bill Larkin on stage.
Nice.
In a show. My husband and I went to go see a Shakespeare play, and he was in it. I don't think he would. We haven't met. I don't think he knows who I am. But yeah, I was like so surprised to see Bill Larkin in the program, and he was playing a comedic role, and he was hilarious, which is not surprising. But yeah, so I have seen him perform live, which was super cool. And Elisa Carlson, who I miss so much, who is just too busy being super successful and talented. I've done a couple shows at her house. We did some collab streams together. I carted this into her house, and we played music together.
That's so cool.
Several times.
Nice.
I think she came here once. We did a collab stream here. She brought her violin.
Pretty sweet.
We played some tunes.
Yeah. I think that's something your mom mentioned earlier in the chat, that you both were trying for a violin, and then after like sussing it out at the store, it was that you both walked out and said no violin. Makes sense. Seems complicated.
You know how long it takes to make a nice sound on a violin?
I've heard. It's pretty rough. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
I never answered your question though. So
That's
anyway,
fine. I mean, yeah, it's fine.
But Rock the Piano brought Oreos because unfortunately the sandwich shop that he was gonna go to was closed. So he just brought some Oreos, and then he tried to dip it in beer, and the result was disastrous. So that's probably it.
That sounds gross. That's Adam. That is Adam as heck.
Yeah,
and
really is.
Honestly, that is a better answer than I think I would have ever expected. That's perfection.
Yep.
God damn it, Adam.
Yeah. Big shout out to our friend Rock the Piano, but sure, for sure. Good times. All right, so let's see. What do we got over here? Your mom had a really good question. The question is, what is your favorite dinner to cook?
My favorite dinner is one that I don't cook. Nothing that takes a lot of effort. I don't know if I have any like a specific answer. I'm a big fan of like throwing stuff in a crock pot, or just like shoving stuff in the oven and just letting it go. I'm low effort. So I had my workout earlier today, and so I came home. I just needed something quick. I mean, this is not my favorite, but like this is kind of my, the way I operate is to do as little work as possible. I sliced up some tofu, fried it, sauteed some greens. Took my tofu, covered it with barbecue sauce, slapped the greens on there, threw some kimchi on there, and that was like my real dinner. Minimal effort.
But that doesn't mean it's gonna taste bad though. Still could be a good meal.
No, it was very good.
Love it. Love
actually,
it.
if you like kimchi, which I don't think my mom does.
Yep. Oh, that's interesting. Wow, it's a little difference of opinion. Interesting. I did, but it's all good. I respect it. Yeah, this is great. Thank you for the question, Mrs. Harper. Related question. I have always wondered, where is Wendy Harper a moniker, or is it actually? I mean, is it a deviation from your regular name? Is it just a completely different name? Like I've always wondered what inspired the name.
It is not my name. Davey, where am I?
Well, you're in Chicago. That's why I thought it was so clever.
Which is known as
the Windy City, and you play harp.
And what do I play?
Yeah,
that's it.
I figured.
It's not that deep. My when I started streaming, I didn't know like what kind of anonymity I would want. I didn't know anything about the internet. And, putting myself out there. My last name is not the easiest to pronounce.
Okay.
And so I knew I didn't want to use that as my stream name because I didn't want to be answering the same question over and over and over about how to pronounce it. And so I knew it would be like an international audience. So I wanted something that kind of described what I do, but was easy to pronounce.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty good.
And I just came up with that, and I'm like, well, we're rolling with it. I don't know. This was, almost 4 years ago. I had no idea what I was doing or how any of this was going to go, and it just stuck. So I mean, people have learned my real name. It's not as much of a secret anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not gonna change my name.
No. This is a great part of your identity, and actually, it brings me a segue to what would you name yourself if you lived in Denver? Like,
Rocky Harper. I don't know.
It's a little tougher. Yeah. Rocky Harper's not bad though. I think that's actually pretty solid.
Could be worse.
Or Harper Apple if you were in New York. Wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
Something like that. But
I mean, there's lots of ways. This just turned out pretty good, and I was a little surprised and very disappointed that there are actually people named Wendy Harper out in the world. Like, really?
That's amazing.
Like, that's a name.
That's pretty funny.
Someone has that multiple people have, and I'm like, yikes. You can change your name, right?
Okay.
Like, I'm used to being called Wendy now, but like,
yeah.
Imagine having Wendy as like your actual legal first name. Jesus.
That is an interesting situation. But to your one thing I would say is that a lot of people, I know their real names and I still call them by their Twitch names anyway. Like Rahomo's the best example of that. Like, dude's Rahomo. Like whenever I see him in person, like, hey Rahomo, what's up? Like he's our friend will be Rahomo to me no matter where
And people who I know in real life and see online, we go back and forth. Like, like when Robbie and I are talking, like sometimes we're talking about Purge, or
yeah.
we'll use his real name, and it just like we'll switch back and forth.
Absolutely.
And what is really funny? So I'm leaving for my trip on Saturday, and I'm staying with a friend that I met online who has become part of our little circle of family members here. And so we always use his screen name, Randy for short. It's Randy Newman's Cleveland, the whole name. And so I'm going to stay with him. I do know his real name, obviously, but I'm going to meet a couple of his like real life friends who don't Twitch. They're just normal. They're normal people. And so he made a point to tell me, like, all right, so if you call me Randy, they're gonna have no idea who you're talking about, and it's gonna be real weird. So yeah, I just have to like keep in mind, because we really go back and forth with a lot of people, and it's just
I think it's
making
awesome.
Sure you use the right one in the right context.
Yeah, for sure, because it would get confusing. Like you're in I don't know, you're in like one of those markets, those public markets. Like, oh, I have people. And what happens if you order something and then they call your regular name and people don't know it's for you?
Or you could just be like my husband and just use your full name as your Twitch name, Robbie Lee Williams. You could just do that.
That works fine. That works too. Absolutely. That works too, for sure. So let's get to the next question, which actually follows up something we were talking about. So Breddington Frothing Slosh, real name is, we'll not say his real name, but it's Brett is obviously his regular name, so that's not too much of a mystery. But which of the following are sandwiches? Hot dogs, tacos, bao buns? And I think based on what we were saying earlier, my answer would be all of them. But Wendy, would you concur with that or go a different direction?
Tacos are not. I don't think tacos are a sandwich. Hot dog, you could maybe call it a sandwich because the bun is bread.
Mm-hmm.
But tacos, that's not bread. Bao buns, I think you could get away with calling it a sandwich. Also, now I really want some bao buns.
It sounds great. Yeah.
It sounds really good.
Oh man, Brett's inspirational in a lot of ways. Appreciate you, Brett. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's actually the nice thing if you have that. Sometimes some people do like to go utilize their name in the handle just so that it's a little less complicated, but it just depends. Like, my last name's not in my handle, so like I think it's cool this way. Just Some people think
Wait,
my last.
is eating,
Yeah,
is
you're
eating
just.
a sandwich is not your last
It's
name?
not my last name. I'm sorry to say.
Is eating a sandwich. Comma Davy.
IRS forms. It's like, oh, that's great. I love that.
Imagine, be like, if you saw that as a last name, just is eating a sandwich, one word, and be like, how do you pronounce that? Just as it sounds.
Yeah. And to be like,
just pronounce it as it's written.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Pretty good. So yeah, questions are still open for a little bit, everybody. So if you have anything else to ask, throw it on in. I'm gonna go to. Let me see. I did have a question. I did have a follow-up question. I just completely forgot about it. But oh yeah. What are your favorite games to play? Like.
Well, I don't play games as often as I would like
Mm-hmm.
because of harp, and I was having like some tendonitis issues, so I just physically couldn't play
Mm-hmm.
games because I needed all of my faculties to just like play harps. The most recent one I've played, Breath of the Wild. I will finish it some year. I played the heck out of Hades. That is a really good game. I started, so I came to gaming late. My husband introduced me to it because it wasn't something I grew up with. I was an only child and I was very involved in music. That's what I did. So I think we had an Atari. I'm dating
My
myself
goodness.
seriously now. But I never got into gaming. I was an only child. I didn't really know anything. And so I never really played video games until an adult. My husband was playing Dark Souls 3, and I would watch him play it, and I'm like, this game is gorgeous, and I want to try playing it. And boy, there was a learning curve because I've never used a PS4 controller in my life.
Oh man, I can imagine. Wow.
So I had to like learn how to do basic things with a video game controller. But I've played all the Dark Souls games. Played the heck out of Bloodborne too. I love Journey. So I mean, I don't know if I have like a favorite game, but I've played a variety. I would like to play more, get some more credibility as like a gamer. I put like 200 hours into Hollow Knight.
Right, of course.
Someday I'll get good at it, but I definitely have put several hundred hours.
Well, I mean,
into Hollow Knight.
I'll tell you what. If bad Hollow Knight gets you 300,000 hits on YouTube,
yeah,
you're already
and
there.
That YouTube video was just me taking damage. It's triggered. It's triggered a bunch of people.
Oh, really? That's
because
funny.
it's painful to watch, but like it fits the music.
Right, it's totally the music, absolutely. But it kind of fits the theme anyway. Like it's like we all make mistakes, and everything's gonna be all right. I mean, it's just a game, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Brett says, I wish I had more to ask. I'm a bad interviewer guy. You're fine. You're good. But if you do have questions, throw them all in. Rahomo, good to see you. LOL, I played the heck out of Hades. Yeah. It's good to see you, though, my friend. How are you doing, Rahomo? Shout out, Rahomo.
What about you, Davey? I'm going to ask you questions now. What are you playing these days?
Oh, what am I playing these days? I'm playing golf with your friends a lot these days. It's a fun game. It's just mini golf. It's nothing that serious. And then outside of that, I don't think Towers of Hanoi really counts as a game, but I like doing that puzzle a lot, so that's pretty good. Prior to that, my biggest game that I was doing was like Sudoku based games, but I think there was one that was called I play the weirdest games. I don't really play a lot of fancy games at all, but I did like this game where it's like Blokudoku, where you just basically would just try to, it's like Tetris a little bit, but you're just forming them in a you're kind of forming them like a Sudoku block and trying to get them to line up so that they match, something like that.
So like just spatial puzzles. That's cool.
Oh, I'm big on those. Yeah, I really like those kind of games. And then I think for stream I've been playing Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels just to see if I could beat it. We're pretty close. I just had I have to get around to finishing it, but it's been something I've been doing on stream too. So we're all kind of enjoying that together. it is a crazy game with a really crazy history. Like, but I won't get too deep into that. But any Mario game, I'm really a big fan of, so I really get into it. The only one I haven't really tried is Mario 64. Weird, but true. But it's a great game. I know it is. So, yeah.
I mean, I haven't played most of them either because I didn't grow up with them.
Yeah.
So, someday.
Brett says, "Don't let Davey fool you. He's a professional StarCraft player." If you say so, buddy. I got. But it was getting better though. For what it's worth, like the last time I played it, I was starting to get better at it as the night went on. So there is that. So pretty cool. Okay. We don't have any questions at the moment. So let me see. If you could pick, let me think. Yeah, I did have the question of do you know how to play Wonderwall on the harp, but that's we don't have to get to that one right now. Let me think.
Know how? No.
Yeah.
Could? Sure. Want to? Not really.
Yeah, not to is the big one, right? Like, who would want to do that? Like, that would be. But let me think. Anybody else with a question though? I mean, I do appreciate all the lurkers in our chat tonight, but if you do have a question, we'd love to take it. So, one that King likes to ask, it's a really good one. What are some of your bucket list places where you would like to play? Like,
where I would like to play?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Man, I would love an excuse to go to Europe. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, playing there would be great, but if we could just like turn that into a business trip, just like as an excuse to go. I want to go meet more Twitch people.
I love this.
I have met so many people who live in the UK, and I want to come hang out you, but like, when would I do that?
Oh yeah.
Also, I would probably have to find a harp there. I don't think I would ship this overseas. It's possible.
I think I have an idea.
I'm not gonna do it.
Right. But if you went to London, there's a decent chance, I'm not saying it's a great chance, but it's a decent chance, maybe even 50% chance or more, that you could hang out, you can link up with Carrie Ann, and maybe. Oh,
sure. I mean, I do know some harpists. You know, I could certainly use my professional network to like rent an instrument that's already there, but like I would not be shipping my harp to Europe for funsies. So it would be very much like just finding something suitable for that amount of time. But yeah, I would love to go meet Carrie Ann and Corny Ears, who I have been hanging out with for years at this point. Another harpist and incredibly talented singer-songwriter, and Egglybirds, pianist. Declan Zappala is a professional guitarist that I've become friends with, and I would love to get over there and do some collabs and just meet some people, some friends who I've met through Twitch who are not streamers. That would be the best.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, do you get tempted whenever you see TwitchCon? Like, for example, this year in Paris, like, was that temptation for you?
Not really. It's I'm still not really interested in traveling much. Due to, I mean, COVID is still a thing. I would be much more likely to do a statewide con. Yeah. But I mean, if they wanted to just have one in Chicago, I'd be there. Absolutely.
They should have one in Chicago. My goodness. Like, one thing I'll tell you what, Whitney, like, one thing I've picked up with in the 2 or so years I've been on Twitch is that it's remarkable, like, how much music there is in Chicago. Like, how much live music specifically. It is really impressive. Like, I feel like the density of music in Chicago is so much greater than even the 2 cities that, like, the city I live in, LA. Like, you have live music, but you have, like, in clubs, you have, like, piano players, you have, like, guitar players. It's just rather remarkable, like, how much of that is represented by Twitch. And you don't really see it in LA and New York for whatever reason. Like, Chicago really has hit that really happy zone with it.
Interesting. I mean, just because it's in the Midwest, people kind of forget that it's like a real city.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's not like over 9 million people live here.
Yeah.
It is a real city. We have lots of culture. We have lots of musical organizations. We have lots of stuff going on. I used to play for musicals, like in the pit. There's lots of theater. There's just tons of stuff going on all the time. My husband got into dance a few years ago, so he's extremely busy dancing semi professionally. So there's lots of you can find anything here.
Yeah. That's very much so. Definitely in the culinary area, same thing. Like it really isn't I sometimes have dreams of going to Chicago just for that, but if nothing, but there's so much going on. Sports too. There's a lot. It really is a wild city. It's a pretty cool spot.
I'm not a huge sports fan, but I have been to a couple baseball games.
Mm-hmm.
It takes like 10 years between games. I went to a Cubs game maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
And then Purge Light brought me and my husband and his parents to a Sox game recently. So in 10 years, I'll probably go see a Blackhawks game. I don't know.
Well, I'll check in with you in 2058 when you see how the Bears game went. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And those both experiences seem to be really, really fun. Like, I'm not gonna judge. I'm not gonna be like, which side are you on? Like, I don't care. Like,
yeah, it was fun. I don't care about the sports. I really do not care who wins. But it was a good time.
For sure.
It's not something I would want to do. Like, I don't want to go to every game, but once every few years.
For sure.
A great time.
Yeah. What have been some of your favorite performance venues to attend? Like, what are some of the best experiences in that area? Like, which theaters are really, 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 really great?
One of my favorites. I used to play there, and it's a mid-sized theater. It's called Mercury Theater. It's actually it's not far from Wrigleyville.
Okay.
From actually Wrigley Field. It's just a few blocks away. And I played shows there for 7 years, and just some of the most amazing performances that you wouldn't necessarily hear about because it's not one of the big theaters with the touring productions coming through, Wicked and Hamilton, all that stuff, but they're doing just incredible mid-sized performances. You see so many talented actors and musicians coming through. I think the last show I saw there was it Little Shop of Horrors?
Ooh.
But yeah, I've done, what were some of the shows? Just the direction, the music direction is always just top notch. And the things they do with the set design is always so incredibly creative. And I would absolutely recommend anyone go see a show at Mercury Theater.
I love the call. Thank you for the recommendation, Wendy. And Rohan says, yes, Little Shop. Also says, nice. I go to a game every 20 years. There you go. 20 years. That's a good pace.
You don't want to go too often. Also, that shit's expensive.
It is expensive though. That's the thing. So I think it's good advice. Yeah. Anybody for a bean? If anybody wants to torture me some more in the last half hour, feel free. Or last however many minutes we have left over. Perch says, tell me about the Bat Boy theory. Let's hear it.
The Bat Boy theory? What was the theory? We were just in awe, and we're trying to figure out what the deal with the Bat Boy is. How does one become a Bat Boy? What are the requirements?
Yeah.
And do they travel? Do they travel with the team, or do the Bat Boys stay? Are they part of the infrastructure of each thing? They seem really important. They're running and they're doing stuff. They're Bat Boying all over the place. But they're kids. So what do they do when they tour? Do they take them with them? Do they miss school because they're a Bat Boy? Can you age out?
Yeah, can you age out?
Being a Bat Boy? Like, what is it? 18? You're done. 16? Like, what is the cutoff?
That's a great. These are
And
great questions.
the training.
Yeah.
What is the training requirements? Because
Do they
you can't get in. Like, they obviously have to have some sort of training.
Yeah.
So we had so many questions about the Bat Boy.
Yeah, this is some hard hitting stuff, Whitney. Like, this is seriously, like, honestly.
No one talks about the Bat Boys.
Right. I totally.
We need to know. We need a big expose on the Bat Boys.
Absolutely.
Is there like an organization?
Is there a union for Bat Boys?
Is there like a union? And it was a weeknight too. So like, what if a game goes late? Is there like a certain time that they have to be done because they have like school in the morning? Do they drop out and become professional Bat Boys? There's so many questions.
Oh man, there's so many questions. Now you just said, yeah.
How do you get into it? How do they choose? Other auditions? Like I guess it would be not auditions. That's the wrong word. I'm a musician. It would be a tryout or a trial.
I mean,
like
it is kind of an audition. What would a job interview be like? What's your favorite kind of wood? Is it oak? Is it ash? I don't know.
I would imagine there's a lot of kids who'd want to be a Bat Boy.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some sort of selection process, or is it just like nepotism? Do they have resumes? Like, do they have to have like running, like a certain running speed? Like, do they have like they have like trials? They have all the kids like run across the field, and you have to like be able to run a certain speed. Like, you can't be a slow Bat Boy.
Bat Boy Combine just sounds like great television. Like, bases just all over the place, just trying to dodge those. That'd be great.
I also just want to know like what they say. Like,
oh yeah,
what are you saying to this professional baseball player?
I guess the first thing I would think of is, here's your bat.
I guess. I mean, do they not say anything? I feel like I saw them talking, but like, what do you say?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a really great question. I don't know.
We had many questions about the Bat Boys.
If any of you happen to know a Bat Boy and have any expertise on this matter, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Let us know here in the chat. Wait, do they fly with the team, says Rahomo? Do their wings get tired? Bada bing, bada boom. Nice.
Like, yeah, does some Bat Boy like lie about his age so that he can keep being Bat Boy and just like
scandal?
He's growing facial hair and he's like, nearing 6 foot tall, and the players are like, "You sure you're still 12?"
Oh, that's wild. Like partially gray hair, picking up bats down the.
Do they have like a registry of past Bat Boys? Is there like a hallway in these stadiums where they have pictures of all the old Bat Boys? Are there Bat Boy reunions? You got like 80-year-old guys coming back to like reminisce about their days as the Bat Boys.
It's phenomenal. Woo. I love it.
I get so many questions.
I know, absolutely. Purge says this distracted us for like 80% of the game we went to.
That's 100% true.
Well, I have one for you. Do you ever notice that some Bat Boys have a number on the back of their jersey and some don't? How do they come up with a number for the back of a Bat Boy? That's weird.
And also, there's only so many numbers.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. They just not reuse? They reuse them after a certain point.
Oh gosh.
I don't know.
That's another can of worms right there. Like the numbering system.
It's like
a
whole other thing.
Yeah.
Like, at what point are we ever going to dip into triple digits? We're gonna get like number 100.
Or almost says, do they retire Bat Boy numbers? That's a very good question. That's a very good question.
Only if someone dies in a tragic Bat Boy accident. They'll retire that jersey.
I wouldn't even suspect. Oh my god, that's funny. Yeah, Bat Boy Hall of Fame.
I mean, what about Bat Girls?
Well, they are out there.
Like,
there are Bat Girls. I have seen them.
So this is the movie I want to see. It's a girl who disguises herself as a boy because she just dreams of being a Bat Boy.
So this is like several years ago, I imagine. Breaking the Bat Boy barrier.
The Bat Boy barrier.
The bad gender barrier.
Look, girls can pick up bats just as good as boys.
They exist. It's just an
And, like-
antiquated term. Yeah, no, I'm with that. I'm with that. I've seen the Batgirl out there, and Mulan, but with bats. That is great. That is great, Romo. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen Crickster. It's so good to see you. I haven't seen you in a bit. How's it going? Hello, Davey and Wendy. Waves on mute because I'm babysitting 3-month-old quadruplets. Hey, future Bat Boys.
God. Yes, the future is here.
I love it. But so good to see you, Crickster. Hope you're well, and hope you manage all that. That sounds like an exciting time. 3-month-old quadruplets. That's 4 babies in the same time.
That's too many. It's too many.
A lot of bats. Like, I mean, you can pick up like 10 bats in one sitting with like four kids. Like, start the training early. Absolutely. Yeah. That's what we're doing.
It's basically just teaching your kid to fetch.
So wait a second. So why did we get a dog to do the job? Like, couldn't a dog? Like...
I mean, yeah. And then it's a robot dog, and then they're like taking our job.
AI Bat Boy.
So maybe we should not.
Yeah, but, I mean, you're right. This is gonna get pretty sad after a minute. Good point. Pinball says, "I just got here. Can you summarize the stream so far?" Welcome in, Pinball. So good to see you. Summary. Hyper still doesn't think I can make a sandwich. Bat Boy dominated 80% of the conversation for the last like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I hate to see it.
Hate to see it.
Terrible tasting beans.
Terrible tasting beans. Wendy is actually not from Chicago originally. Interesting fun fact. She's originally from here in LA, where I am. So that's pretty wild. So
I became windy later in life.
Brett says, "Can you say hi to Pinball for me?" Hi, Pinball. How you doing?
Hi, Pinball.
Ramos says, "Did we find out if our chat is human?" We did not. Still a lot of speculation in that area.
This is the wrong channel. I don't think we have the verification system here. We'll just have to take your word for it.
Yeah. Sal says, they are human. I love it. Sal, it's so good to see you. Welcome in. Thank you for all the questions, though. So we got one little last round of salad. I mean, one last round of questions if you want to. So we have last call for questions, exclamation point question followed by the question itself. No, that was a really good question, Purge. Like, this stat really has my mind working really hard now. I'm like, now I'm just questioning like the fundamentals of life because of that. I don't know. Like, what does it mean? Why can't I get my own bat? Like, why can't I...
And like they got guys on the bench. Like, I don't know, make the guy who's been sitting there, make him get the bat.
I mean, yeah, it's like,
You gotta stretch your legs once in a while.
I mean,
What is it with American child labor?
yeah, it's been a thing forever. It's a little outrageous, undoubtedly. Okay, Brett's with a question. Which is the best salad, Cobb or wedge?
Oh my God, Cobb.
Dig it.
Not even a question.
Yeah. One last round of salad. Well, thank you for the question, Brett. Brett says I'll allow it. Listen, like, it sounds great to me. I think they're both pretty good. Like,
Also, ranch or blue cheese?
Oh, that's a great question. See, I could go either way with that. In a salad context, in a buffalo wing context, it's blue cheese every day. Like, I'm all about
Absolutely.
Yeah, no contest there. But yeah, I think blue cheese and salad is pretty good too. If you put it with a bacon, it's great. I'm a big fan. Yeah, salad's blue cheese.
The only time I don't like ranch dressing really in any context. However, dill pickle ranch is incredibly delicious, and I would put that on everything.
Okay.
There's a fried chicken place near us, and that's like one of the options you can get, and it is so delicious.
Really?
Put it on chicken. Use it as leftover, like for a salad dressing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so delicious.
I like it. Is it something I could buy at the store, you think, or is that something I just have to be there?
No.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know.
Interesting.
think they make it in-house.
Okay.
But it might be worth some experimentation if you just chop up pickles and put it in ranch dressing. You can't make it worse.
No, you definitely can't make it worse. That's true.
You can't make it worse.
I'm not a big ranch guy myself either. Like, you ever see those sandwiches that have ranch dressing? They're like, why? Like, you have mayonnaise. You have better options than ranch. Like, why would we do?
I don't even like mayonnaise on sandwiches most of the time.
Well, that's all right. I mean, that's fine. That's like, I mean, I know people are different sides of the mayonnaise too, so that's all good. Like, Italian dressing.
'Cause even like I can handle it, but like 95% of the time, it's just too much. And it's like gooping out the sides, and you're like trying to scrape it off, and it just.
It's fair.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
You know who the worst offender
or
that
none,
is? We
or
talked
none.
the worst offender. Like, who? If you could guess who you think the worst offender of that mayonnaise proportion to a sandwich is.
Arby's.
Good guess. I would say it's McDonald's, because the McChicken sandwich is like 50% mayonnaise, and like somewhere drenched in the mayonnaise is like the chicken patty. It's rough. Like, it's so much mayo. Like, you're just like one time I had it and I just like held it, and the mayo, like 2 teaspoons of mayo went in my lap because it was so much of it in there. Oh gosh.
And there's no good way to like remove the mayo once it's already on there. You either have to like just squish the sandwich to like make it really goop out the sides, or you gotta like peel the bread off and then like you gotta wipe it on something, and it's very undignified, and no sandwich deserves that.
It's fair. It's fair. Let's go. Well, let me finish up the chat. So, Salad says, do you like the ranch on the salad or ranch on the side? Sorry, I didn't mean to make it a salad stream. No apology necessary. These are actually really good questions. On the side, because I feel like when they do it in the salad, it's way too much. Like, yeah.
It's always too much.
Yeah.
So I just, to be safe, I always get dressing on the side.
Solid.
And you'd be surprised how much less dressing you consume when you do it that way.
Right.
The best way to do it, dip your fork in the dressing, and then stab your mouthful of salad and do that.
Oh, really? And that would be enough? That is interesting.
I mean, you can always like.
I think you're right though.
Add a little more, but like, I mean, are you like pouring it? Okay, so if you order salad dressing on the side, how are you consuming the salad dressing? Are you pouring it over the salad? Because then it's not mixed in very well.
Yeah.
And that they're generally not going to give you dressing in a cup large enough to like dip your bite in there. So yeah, I just like kind of just dip my fork in the dressing, swirl it around a little bit if you need to, and then that's enough for a bite.
Yep. Great stuff. And let's see. Ramos all dressing is salad. Love it. Turkey bacon mayo is better than turkey bacon ranch every day, all day, every day. That's Breddington's comment. Yeah, and absolutely. And so now you mentioned mayo is kind of like gross too, at least from your point of view. So what are your choices for dressings inside of a sandwich? Like, do you have any preferences?
I mean, obviously it depends on the sandwich.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I would take mustard over mayo pretty much any day. If we're talking just like, a basic turkey sandwich, turkey, cheese, lettuce, tomato, whatever. Slap some mustard on there, and that's good enough for me.
And especially if you go with a brown mustard, like, it's really good. Like, I vibe with that. Like you said, it does depend on the sandwich. Like, mustard is very, very dependable though for me. It's not for everybody. But
mustard comes in so many different flavors. Like honey mustard is also really good too.
Absolutely.
I like a spicy brown mustard. It just depends on, I think there's a mustard for everyone.
I dig it. Yeah, there's no doubt. Yeah, that's great. I love it. Italian dressing, like, do you do that in certain sandwiches, cold cut sandwiches, for example?
On a rare trip to Subway, sure, I always get the oil and vinegar.
Oh man,
Italian dressing.
Yeah, we don't have to go into too deep into the Subway thing. Subway's sort of a last resort situation.
100%. I would agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like that's the only time I would really do that. But I go out of my way to not eat Subway.
This is solid. I do too. Okay. Nowadays, yeah, absolutely. Let's go to the next question from Pinball Sorcerer. What is the best piece of advice you have heard recently? Now, that's an interesting question. Like a take on the other question.
a really good question. I don't receive a lot of advice. I don't know. My husband's always telling me to talk about your feelings more. So I'll go with that.
Good advice. I like it. Any particular TV shows you've been getting into recently? That's a common question.
I have a problem.
Uh-oh.
I started watching K-dramas. I've been unable to stop.
That's unique.
And
I like it.
now my Netflix refuses to show me anything else. Like I have to, if I want to see like what is on Netflix, I have to switch over to my husband's account because mine is completely screwed up. That's a problem.
What was your gateway into that? Was it that one show that everybody was talking about?
I don't even remember the title of it, but
Yeah.
my sister-in-laws
Oh.
would watch them, and they
Yeah.
recommended one to my husband, and we watched one together, and it was like my first one that I'd ever seen. I don't even remember the title. This was years ago. And then recently they've been pushing them on Netflix.
Yeah.
And so I watched a few, and then I have watched too many.
Understandable. It's Squid Game was the one I was thinking of. Thank you, Brett, for reminding me. Yeah.
I still need to see
I
that
haven't seen
one.
it. Oh, okay.
I know that was like super mainstream.
Yeah.
But,
Well, that's going to be an interesting
yeah.
context, like going into Squid Game. Like you're familiar with what it inspired it, so now you're going to just watch it after the fact. That is going to be a very interesting experience. I'd love to hear how that goes. Like that sounds really good. Yeah.
My husband hasn't seen it either. We need to.
Okay.
We have one K-drama that we're watching like together, which we just watch when we're. So it's maybe one episode a day, maybe.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we'll watch Squid Game together at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But as far as like other TV shows, I'm a big like food competition person. I bake shows of all varieties, except Is It Cake? That show is trash. Sorry. I'm so sorry, Mikey Day. You deserve better. That show is so bad. It's so bad. But like basically anything, beyond that, baking competition shows, cooking shows, I'm all about it.
Now I have to just watch the show. I now want to see what this is all about. Like,
Have you not seen Is It Cake?
I need to go see this now just to see how
It's
bad
so
it is.
bad. It's so bad.
It's like Discord movie night.
The format is bad. It's not like the bakers are untalented or anything. Like it's the show format is very bad and uninteresting.
Yeah. Pinball says could be an inspiration for a new segment. Is it sandwich? Well,
or what? Or what else would it be?
I mean, we kind of already do that here. Like we have hot dog, we have bao buns, Uncrustables.
The answer is yes.
I agree.
They are all sandwiches.
I've been more comfortable with life once I've come around to that idea too. I'm like, you know what? Why fight this? Like crackers and cheese. Yes, that's a sandwich too. Absolutely.
Robbie says a Pop-Tart is a sandwich.
Well, maybe two of them. I mean, I guess one would kind of be work. Yeah, I guess we could do that. Robbie, I can do
two sides and filling in the middle.
Yeah, I think you could do that. Yeah, you could do that. Well, the reason why I'm not sure is because like the frosting is what throws me off. But I think you're right because like if you think about it, if you like took a calzone or an empanada or something like that and you squished it really, really thin, that's a Pop-Tart. Yeah. Okay.
But like not all sandwiches are thin. You think of
Right.
hoagies. Some sandwiches are kind of tall.
Yeah.
They're not all flat.
Yeah. I do love this as an official segment though. Pinball's right. Like, so we could do. Okay, so Pinball, if you could give us one to try, to just as a pilot for this, like, what would be good? Oh, your mom. There you go, right out of the box. Your mom actually has a good one. Calzone, sandwich or no sandwich?
I mean, I would call it a sandwich, sure.
Okay.
I really have no problem with that at all. Quesadilla. Is quesadilla a sandwich?
I've actually kind of thought, yeah. I mean, if you have two tortillas, it really is. It's just kind of like you basically have like two pieces of bread. I think it works. It's interesting, right? Like I wouldn't, like I said, like it's if people don't agree with that, I don't really object to the disagreement either. But I think it is. I think it works. It's
I
not.
also think it could be pizza.
Well, pizza's hard because like it doesn't stay together. But I think it would theoretically be right. Romo says, "What are hot pockets?" Sorry, I mean, why are hot pockets? That's fantastic. Yeah, I love it.
I mean, that's a philosophical question.
Quite. Yeah. When was the last time you had a hot pocket? Like, I'm trying to think. It's been a while.
College.
Yeah, it's been.
They're not
Yeah.
good for
No,
you.
no, they're just not good.
they have too much sodium
Yeah.
and calories. Like how do they even do it? Just
Yeah.
the processed food stuff is incredible. Like how they manage to even pack so many calories into like a small thing.
It's
Mind blowing, and the salt too.
100%.
And of course, it tastes delicious because science and magic. But like, it's so bad for you.
It really is. And Homo cites the other important point: have your mouth burns healed yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
Never forget.
Spot on. Oh gosh. Yeah, I think I'm still
all,
feeling
we all have shared trauma.
right? I'm still feeling it from like 15 years ago. Like it's like I remember, like
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Sounds like Brett has some really good additional Korean thriller movie recommendations too. So that's good stuff. Good stuff.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. I think the segment should just be Davey attempting to eat ridiculous sandwiches while playing a game of cards. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, absolutely. You'd be surprised what an audience that might get. Like, I'm just literally just playing cards and eating a sandwich, and that apparently gets people over here. Like, I'm rather impressed by that. But
I'm screenshotting these titles, Brett. I'm gonna look at them.
Nice.
I'm gonna check them out.
Cool. As when he gathers those title together, it has been. I do think it's really if you have not followed our friend Wendy Harper yet, I recommend it highly. Exclamation point guess. I will invoke that right now. There's a link. Go follow our good friend. Really great stuff. Like it's always fun to see, as you were talking about, kind of taking this full circle, like the way you've arranged songs to fit the stylings of the harp. And when you talk about doing that with, I know many of your gigs seem to be VGM and classical type gigs, but do you occasionally also play pop covers during your live gigs as well? And what kind of songs would you play in such a gig?
I mean, yeah, we have pop songs for like weddings and
Right.
other gigs. I've got a bunch of Beatles, and I have some of this stuff on my Twitch song list too, which is as some kind of non-video game music options for people. I've got a handful of Beatles songs. Georgia on My Mind.
Ooh.
What are some of the other? But I mean, I've got my iPad here. I have tons of gig music that I've had to learn for weddings, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, other things from movies.
Musicals too, right?
Yeah, musicals. Pull up my gig. Let's see, La Vie en Rose.
Ooh.
I have Girl from Ipanema. Somewhere in Time, because I used to play at the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island, and that's required.
Oh, really?
There, I've got and some of these things I don't play on stream, but like I have these. I've got All of Me, Time After Time, some U2, songs from the Fantastics, Unchained Melody, Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
I like it.
Some jazz standards too, like Till There Was You, I Get a Kick Out of You, Moonglow. I mean, I've got all this stuff for gigs.
Cool.
I don't have a lot of I don't do a lot of weddings or those kind of gigs anymore, so I haven't like updated my repertoire. So like I don't know what's like the current stuff that harpists are playing. I don't know. Are people arranging Billie Eilish? Probably. I don't know.
Wait, Bad Guys on harp sounds like a really, really fun idea. Like that actually sounds pretty good.
Could do some Lana Del Rey.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know. I don't unless it's like for something specific. I don't go out of my way to broaden my pop repertoire.
Word up. Last question, and then we'll say goodbye for now. But what has been among your favorite moments during your day streaming? Like, have there been, what are like some of the moments that really stand out to you as far as your days on stream?
Like just in general.
Yeah.
Usually when we get derailed and start talking about God knows what, or just, it's all related to chat. It's who shows up and what kind of energy they're bringing to that stream. Because I can just, if it's just me, if everyone's lurking and no one's chatting, like I'll just play tunes for 2 hours. But it's me reacting to something probably Purge Light has typed into chat that will derail us into all sorts of crazy conversations. Or trying to change song styles, like when, you request the DuckTales theme, but you want it as a lullaby. And I have to figure out how to do that.
I love this idea. I'll put that in my notes. I just want to hear that. It sounds great.
The moment from my most recent stream that sticks out to me is I was singing an original song and I had a very well-timed hiccup, and it completely derailed me for the rest of the song because I got the giggles. Right. So I couldn't plan that, but that's a thing. That's a clip you can watch.
That's right. I was lurking that day. That was right. Oh my goodness, that was funny. Good times. Yeah. Pinball's chat derailing streams. I know.
Yeah, that's what they're best at.
Absolutely. Pretty much that's a universal thing. Like every channel has had these moments, and we love it. We're glad to have it. Wendy, this has been really great, and thank you everybody in the chat for asking questions tonight. It's really great to have your presence tonight. I really appreciate your support, hanging out here. You mentioned you have a great trip, so have a great rest of your week and enjoy. Have a wonderful time once you get going to Pennsylvania. That sounds like a really fun trip.
Yeah, I'm excited. Lots of rehearsing, and I'm very excited to see how the concert turns out on Wednesday. And yeah, hopefully some of you can attend online or watch it later.
I love it. Yeah, well, if you oh my gosh, that was terrible. I'm so sorry. But yeah, we'll put the link on Discord too, so that you all can check it out whenever the time comes. So I'll remember to do that after the stream. So thanks again. If you missed any part of this interview with Wendy, you can catch a replay VOD right here on Twitch, or if we'll have it on our YouTube page, which is also Davies Eating a Sandwich, the next day. So thank you so much. Let's go. And thank you everybody who came, and thank you to Irene as well for the hype earlier in the stream. That was for my participation in New Tune Showcase on the weekend. So that's really kind of you. Thank you, Irene. I appreciate that very much. And one other thing before we go, I will be interviewed myself, like tomorrow. So catch us, mods. Can you shout out the Rusty Panda with 2 A's? Because I'm going to be a guest on Rusty Panda show like tomorrow night. So from 8 o'clock Eastern until about 9:30. Catch me and Rusty Panda over there. It'll be really fun. So thanks so much. Wendy, what sounds good to you as far as raid suggestions? I'd be glad to take any ideas that you might have.
Who's on? I'm not normally on Twitch at this time of night, so I don't even know who's on. Let's see. Joyce Lee is always lovely. Liz Vega. Davey's eating a sandwich.
Hey, there you go.
You could raid there.
I love it.
I mean, if you're looking for music,
mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you want to raid a game streamer. Yeah, I'd say Joyce Lee for music.
Okay. I like it. I like that plan. Yeah. Not bad. Joyce?
Doing a charity stream.
Cool. Oh yeah, right on, yeah. Let's do it. Let's go say hi to Joyce. It's been a bit.
She's lovely.
I appreciate, yeah, for sure. thanks again, everyone. Wendy, it's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you. So, let us know if feel free to let me know if there's anything else you want to get the word out about it. We'll make sure to let people know here, down the road too. So, it means a lot. Best wishes on everything in your career, and also in your trip and everything else, and also with Twitch. My best. Yeah. Thanks so much. This was really, really fun.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Pleasure. It's been, it's been really great getting to know so many different people from all over the world, and you included. And if you're ever in Chicago, I will buy you a sandwich.
Hey, thank you so much. Well, you don't have to do that, but I appreciate it. It would be great to meet you. I would be so glad to see you. Thank you so much for your hospitality there as well. And then I got to add myself to the long list of people who've been to your house. You're right. I think that's a great idea.
That's true.
It'd be fun.
Mm-hmm. And you have to try Malort.
I've heard the stories of Malort. You know what? I'm going to go in there with some positivity. Maybe it's not as bad as it seems.
Some people like it.
I could be one of the few that likes it.
Maybe.
I won't judge a book by its cover. I will go in clear head, not influenced by anybody, particular people in the same town who have very strong opinions about Malort. Yeah. Oh, that's a really fun idea too. Pinball says yeah. Yeah, I could bring my automaton to Chicago. That seems like a good idea. Seems like a fun.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We can do an auxiliary instrument only stream. I have kazoos.
Nice.
I have a jaw harp, which I can't figure out how to play.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a slide whistle. There's an ocarina somewhere. We could have a auxiliary instrument only stream.
Oh, let's go. And if somebody were to bring, if someone brought a melodica, because I know that when Manny, like orchestra music
we
came,
have a melodica.
You have a melodica. Okay, even better.
We have a melodica.
Yes.
We have guitars. We have ukuleles. I have a glass flute that I can kind of play.
Okay.
I use the word play loosely. We've got some percussion stuff. Like, we could start a very terrible band.
That's gonna be spectacular. Fiber slap duet, says Verhomo. I love it. All right, let's go ahead and start the raid. When we get to Joyce Lee music, get over there, give our friend a follow. I hope things. We hope to. Joyce is cool too. Make sure to follow our friend as well. Follow Wendy Harper. Click the name in the title to follow our friend if you're not already. And tomorrow I'm gonna be on with the Rusty Panda. So if you want to learn a little bit more about what I do about myself, feel free to join the Rusty Panda tomorrow night, roughly the same time. So we'll see you there. I think you mean epic band. I think you mean correctly. You're right, Pinball. Absolutely. I dig it. So yeah, copy the raid call. We're gonna go head on out. Yeah, I know. Says I already know too much about Davey. Several people do. It's all right. It's all good. Bye everyone. Have a great rest of your night. So good. Thanks again. Take care. We'll say hi to Joyce Lee and give her a friend a follow. Take care, everybody.